hair rather wild bleach colors, or wild colors. I've been doing my hair non-normal colors for about three and a half years now. I started out using Sally's Ion Line, which is a demi-permanent, which will wash out within a couple weeks, depending on how much you wash it. I've moved up over the years to permanent hair color. I found some things that really work well for me, and I thought I would give you guys a little bit of an idea of what it is I do to get my hair to look as cool as it'll look at the end of the video. Hopefully everything will come out okay. But yeah, I'm trying to give you guys a little bit of an idea. So, first of all, as you can see already, I've already bleached my hair. One of the things that I do, because I tend to use more pinks and purples, is I start out by bleaching. I don't bleach every time. I actually haven't bleached my hair in about 6 months, which is why you can see up here it's got this more of this orangish yellow tinge going on, and then more white at the ends. This was all new growth that hadn't been bleached before. I was using darker colors on my roots, so it wasn't necessarily needing to be done in a way that needed to be white bleach blonde in order to get the best color. Now, at this point, what I've done is I have bleached it with using a couple of different products that I really like. What I've found out over the years is, because my natural color is brown with some red undertones, that what happens is that my hair tends to turn orangish red when I bleach, as you can see here. So basically what I've done is I've kind of played around with some different stuff and found what works best. One of the things that I use is, because of the color issues, is a bleach that is a violet-based bleach, and hopefully you guys can see this. This stuff runs about $20 a tub at Sally's. I get about a year, if not more, out of a tub, so it's well worth the price to me. And this time, one of the things that I ended up using, something new, is Argan oil-based developer. This stuff is amazing. This is a 20 volume. I tend to make my mix of bleach to my ratio when I do it is I usually end up making 3 batches by the time I'm completely done. I try to make them all together. Sometimes depends on what equipment I have available. I'll do 2 and then 1. It just depends if sometimes 2 will be enough, but as my hair's grown out, it's gotten to be the point where I need to do 3 now. What I do is I do a 25% 30 volume, and then the other 75% a 20 volume. One of the things I've learned over the years is if you use 30 volume for your whole head, it does bleach faster, but you've really got to watch it because it will fry it. I fried my hair about 2.5, 3 years ago, when I probably like when the second times I'd done it. I actually overbleached, and my hair, I could take it and stretch it, and it was stretching like a rubber band and breaking. I had to cut all of my hair off and start over. So basically, because of that, I try to be a little more cognizant about what I do and try to be really healthy about it. I also, to keep my color vibrant once it's done, is I wash it once a week. I use a conditioner only. I do not use shampoo. If you want to strip your color, or you do not want it to last, use shampoo. Shampoo is awesome for stripping your color, especially those ones that say they're supposed to be color safe. Yeah, no. Even the color safe ones will strip. Anything with sulfites will strip it. So the one thing is if you do your hair and you don't like how it comes out, you can definitely just shampoo it every day and it'll come out a heck of a lot faster. What I do is I end up washing once a week. I tend to use dry shampoo. One of the, again, lovely products I really like, Argan Oil Dry Shampoo. This also gives it some volume. My hair tends to be flatter than flat. It just doesn't hold a curl really well. Dry shampoo really helps with that. Mousse tends to dry my hair out. So doing the dry shampoo definitely has made a difference over the years. And now that there's a lot more dry shampoo options available, I really like the argan oil. It just tends to keep it a lot healthier. Also, if you're going to do your hair a lighter or a pale shade, such as a lavender, a light blue, a light pink, you're going to have to go to what is called a 10 level lift. Basically, a 10 level is your white blonde, aka Daenerys from Game of Thrones blonde. In order to do that, you end up doing your bleach, and then after you do your bleach, you end up doing what's called a toner. This is Wella Color Charm. It runs about $5 to $6 a box. It's got just a little bottle in it. T18 is your lightest ash blonde. This is the one if you use 20 volume developer and you're patient, because you don't want to rush it. If you rush it, you're going to fry your hair. This will take you to a white blonde. My ends are still kind of whitish. It's not really showing really well in this light, but hopefully the end result you guys will think will be pretty cool. So let's move on to color. I started out, like I said before, using the Sally's line, the Ion. I've moved on to what's considered permanent hair color. There is a couple of brands that I really like, and basically from what I understand is that they're both basically made by the same company, just one is a little bit less expensive than the other. The color lines are a little bit different. I may be wrong about them being made by the same company, but I think they are. The ones I love the most are Pravana Vivids. These are amazing. They are a permanent hair color, and they go on really, really well. You can mix them. You can lighten them if you need to. A lot of people use conditioner to lighten. I actually use clear to lighten my colors up a little bit. The other one that I buy is Sparks. Sparks, I believe, again, is made by Pravana. The color line is a little bit different, a little bit lighter. Not really a bit lighter. Let's fix that. The color lines, it's a little bit different than what the Pravana ones are. I buy it off of Amazon, so cost-wise, just depending on the color I'm using, and, ooh, sorry about that. My arm's getting tired from holding this. Depending on the color that I'm using, it just depends on the cost. There for a while when light lavender was the big thing, when I tried to do it, it was about $15 a box. I average now probably about 8 to 10, just again depending on what color I'm doing. I've got a pretty good selection of stuff, so now I just have to kind of buy to refresh my collection. If you watch, a lot of times they'll have as add-ons, you give a $25 order and you end up having, you can add on colors for like $5 or $6 a box. I'm really excited this time. Pravana has come out with some new colors. They're called the Jewel Tones. So you have an actual amethyst colored purple, an emerald green, and there's also a black. So I'm kind of interested to see what happens. But just to give you an idea, here is the box. I will probably have to reverse this, but this is the amethyst. I should have been more prepared. Here is the emerald. And like I said before, there's also a black now that you can kind of mix in and end up darkening the colors up a little bit if you want. You can pretty much play with your colors. Just kind of use your color wheel and remember your primary colors from school. Red and blue make purple, blue and yellow make green. All that fun stuff. But it's there's a lot of stuff out there that you can get, and if I'll turn around here in a second and show you all of my setup. This time I'm doing it a little bit differently. I'm actually doing a lot more color than what I normally do. One of the things I've been wanting to do is, since my hair's been growing out, is to go more of a rainbow. So I'm gonna try to do that this time. I'm using a combination of Pravana and Sparks, and I'll pause this for a second so I can turn the camera around. So bear with me. Alright, so I went ahead and turned the camera around, and my counter is like way too much stuff with way too little places to put them. But right now what I have going on is, this is blue with clear in it that I'm going to mix down and make it a little bit lighter. This is Sparks Red Velvet. It's more of a deeper red. I haven't done a whole big section of that yet. I'm kind of excited to see where that one goes. This one is Sparks Magenta Mania. I really like this color. It's worn well in the past. This one is Sparks Red Raspberry. This is the Emerald Pravana. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what these will do. Hopefully you can see some of the difference here. Now this is Pravana Violet. It looks almost black. It's more of a deep bluish base. This is the Amethyst. This is actually a green that's a Pravana with some of the clear. Again, I'm kind of lightening it up a little bit. And this that looks blue back here is actually a violet Pravana. So I'm kind of curious to see how it's going to end up turning out. I do have black. I may play with it a little bit. This has a little bit more color than I tend to normally do. The big thing is you want to have gloves. This is my whole makeup mess over here. You want to have gloves, paper towels, bobby pins, clips, because you're going to want to section your hair off. A rat tail comb is always a good thing to have. Combs are great. But if you get an idea, you can kind of see over here, all my different colors are laid out. I've got, you know, more stuff over here. And I have a helper named Zelda who is going to try to get into the water. She loves water, and my big thing is keeping her out of the color because she doesn't know any better and she thinks it's all good and fun time. So I am going to go ahead and pause this, and we're going to start doing some color, and I will show you how I anchor everything down. So I'll be back in just a few. Okay, so at this point, what I've done is I've gone ahead and sectioned my hair off just into some manageable sections. This is more just for me to be able to work through it a little bit better. One of the things I have found with doing this is that it's not an exact science. When I first started doing it myself, I was so worried about making sure things were even and making sure everything was sectioned off correctly and the right distances. And what I've found is the more colors you're working with, it's more like hair painting. You just go through and grab little sections and color them, and then wrap them up. And like I said, I've got bobby pins, and I will take another picture here and give you guys an idea of what it looks like as we go. The main thing you do want to make sure to do though is I tend to have my part run off to the side. So you definitely want to have your part in the right spot, because you definitely want to make sure that that's covered really, really well. The other thing is if you've got someone that can help you, it's always better to have an extra set of hands. If you don't, just try to be extra thorough. What I do is I just tend to dive in and I use brushes to a point, I use my fingers, I work the color through, and I clip. And I just kind of turn on some music and go and have a good time as I'm doing it. So I am going to turn on some tunes, and we will see where this goes. I will give you an idea here as we're working on it. Alrighty, so just stay tuned and we will do some pretty hairs. Okay, so now that everything is in place, I just kind of shine it around, and I use my camera to try to see if I missed any spots really blatantly, because if I did, then I need to fix them. Looks like pretty much everything is good. So what we will do now is we will put a baggie over it and bake for about another half hour or so. It's been about 2 hours since I started. I find that if you just leave it sit and let it cook, it'll eventually color as dark as it'll go, and it won't go any darker, so it doesn't hurt to leave it on like extra time than I found. But that's just my personal opinion. Okay, and here is the
finished look. I have to style it yet, but as you can see, the color is pretty consistent.